Hey everyone, it's Kevin, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about how to stop binge eating when you're stuck at home. If you want to control what you eat and control your body, then hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video, and if you want to speak with me personally, then there is a link in the description box. Everybody else is making something about COVID-19 and the quarantine, so I thought I would jump on the bandwagon. But really, we're going to be spending a lot of time at home for the next 2 or 3 months, or maybe even longer, hope not. And that means that we're going to have to change our schedule, and a lot of us are going to lose that structure that we once had. And I've noticed that when people lose structure, they tend to eat things that they shouldn't, they eat at times that they normally don't. And when they don't have those external restraints that they have in their typical life, then all bets are off and they start eating more than what they should, and they start eating quantities that they're typically not used to. Things are going to be a little different, and you're going to have to adopt some habits if you're going to eat healthy and be healthy while you're stuck at home. When you're at home all the time, it means that you have more opportunities to eat because you don't have to be at a certain job at a certain time. You don't have the distractions. You don't have that structure. You don't have people waiting on you. It's all on you, and you're at home all the time, and you're always near the kitchen. Even in places that are quarantined, the grocery stores and the drugstores are still open, which means if you really have a craving for something, you can go get it if you want. My first tip for you is avoid the freak out. The last 7 to 10 days have been crazy. It feels like we're in a different life and everything has changed. All of the conversations are about it. Some of the stores are closed. The gym I go to is closed. The car wash is closed. If you want to get a haircut or get your hair dyed, that's not an option right now. If you want to travel, your options are very limited. We're kind of in this alternative reality. And it's really easy to believe that this is going to be forever because all of the news is about COVID-19 or the coronavirus, and everything is about quarantines and shutdowns and the economy. And it's really easy to freak out. I encourage you not to do that. One of the things that I'm starting to do is to consume less news. This is something that I was trying to do before with some success. Now it is not an option. I absolutely must do this. Every day there are thousands of news stories about COVID-19 and where this is going, and nobody really knows. We just don't have enough information yet, and it's too early to predict what is going to happen to this virus. I have several reasons to believe, I have several reasons to be optimistic about it, but right now we're kind of at the bottom. You know, things are not getting better, they're only getting worse. We're looking at death tolls and infection rates and blah blah. Avoid the freak out. Turn off the news, focus on yourself. And that leads me to my next point is figure out some habits that you want to change in the next 60 or 90 days. If you're going to change a habit or break habits or start new ones, now is the time to do that. There's no movie theaters, no restaurants, no weddings, no parties, no office meetings. You're going to have a lot less stress. If you've lost your job or you don't have the hours that you're used to, I mean, I feel bad for you, but at least turn this into an opportunity to really start making those changes that you've always wanted to make. Now is the time. You have the time. You don't have a lot of competition, so focus on some things or some chores that you've been putting off. I know that the IRS just gave us a tax extension, so if you haven't done your taxes, do your taxes. Pretend like April 15th is still the deadline. Clean out your closet, organize your documents, scan some documents, get the house organized and clean. Break those bad habits, create some new habits. Read those books that you've always wanted to read. Use this as an opportunity. Turn a crisis into an opportunity. See this as a gift and not a curse. My next tip for you is sit still, meditate, and spend some time alone. What does this have to do with binge eating? I think it has everything to do. Because what happens is we live in this world that is overstimulated. We have advertisements and social media and pings and notifications. Our attention spans are really low. We're really compulsive. We're always looking for that next hit, whether it's a piece of information or the text message or the candy. It's all integrated. It's the same circuitry in your brain. Our brains are now hardwired to seek instant gratification and to seek any way to alleviate the boredom. And the thing is, if you're quarantined or you're working from home, there is going to be a little more boredom. And you're going to have to deal with that in a mature way. One way not to do that is to consume a bunch of content that you don't need, to read a bunch of news that you don't need, to eat food that you don't need. You're going to have a lot more boredom and downtime. Why not use that to your advantage? Spend some time alone, think to yourself, meditate. There are so many apps and gizmos that can teach you how to meditate. I don't teach meditation, but my own meditation is to sit still and think and breathe and just do nothing for 30 minutes. You're going to have a lot of opportunities to do that. So why not use this time to start that habit? My next tip for you is to accept second best options. If you've been to a grocery store lately, you realize that a lot of people are freaking out and panicking. There's no toilet paper, no paper towels, no sanitizing wipes, no hand sanitizer, no baby wipes. A lot of things are out right now. And a lot of the food is out. I went to a grocery store the other day. The produce was very limited, which is good. I'm glad people are eating that stuff, but it kind of sucked because I got basically nothing. So for the next few weeks, you might have to settle for second best options. And I've mentioned this in previous videos, not related to pandemics and quarantines, but I've talked about this because in certain situations, you're going to have to accept a second best option. Maybe you're at a social event or a restaurant where they don't have the healthiest thing that you can possibly imagine. Or maybe you go to a party and they don't have great options. Or maybe you're with people and they want to go to a sports bar and all they have is chicken wings and fries and beer. You're going to have to be flexible and just roll with it. So let me give you an example. I wanted to buy my favorite whole grain bread. I like Dave's Killer. I also like overeat. I don't know if they have that where you are, but that's my favorite. They didn't have it. So I instead bought some Mission tortillas. Now, these are not the healthiest thing. I don't like the oil that they use to make it fluffy and chewy, but it's the second best option. I'm not going to eat this forever. This is what I could find. Over the years, I've gradually consumed fewer and fewer protein and energy bars, but these really work in a jam. So I found this one. This is a MedRx one. And again, I like to be plant-based, okay? But the plant-based protein bars just aren't that great. They still have some work to do. Cliff Bars is okay. No Cow, But MedRx has good flavor and good texture. Again, look at all those ingredients. Not the best, but again, second best options, okay? This is a cheap source of protein. Each bar was like $1.50 or $1.60. Speaking of Cliff Bars, I also found these, okay? Not my favorite flavor, and Cliff Bars have a bunch of sugar. One bar has 19 grams of added sugar. Don't freak out, okay? These are easy. They're ready to eat. They're familiar. I've been eating these since 2005. Okay, not this flavor, but this brand, okay? Again, second best option. Also related to Cliff Bar, I think it's the same company, but Lara bars, these are a little less processed. They don't have a whole lot of protein, which I guess doesn't really matter, but it's cashews, dates, blueberries, and vanilla extract, excuse me. So these are pretty simple, not so great from a macronutrient standpoint, not that I really care, but not bad, okay? I get a fruit serving out of this. I prefer rolled oats for breakfast. I don't eat too much cereal anymore. Cereal is one of those like fun foods to eat. Gotta have my pops, right? But I couldn't find rolled oats. Again, everything was wiped clean. So I got this. I got the last box of Wheaties. Again, not the greatest, but they fortified it with some vitamins. Mix it with some soy milk or just eat it dry and you've got something. I also got some breakfast protein bars. I'd never tried these, and again, limited options, so I bought a few of these. Not that bad. I also got one of my favorite processed foods, which is a Triscuit cracker. It's just whole grain wheat, canola oil, and sea salt. That's it. These are pretty simple crackers. You can buy these with hummus or guacamole if that's available. But again, it's a processed food. It's made by, what is it, Nabisco or whoever. But for a processed food, it's really not that bad. Again, second best options. Don't overthink it. Find what you can, accept it for now, and you can return to your normal diet in a few weeks, okay? I also have some healthy stuff too. I have my organic protein, but I bought this before the quarantine, so I guess that one doesn't really count, but I'm sure if you order it on Thrive Market or something, they'll still deliver. That's the other thing, is that you can still get stuff home delivered. So even where I am, there's technically a quarantine. The governor here issued like a lockdown, but there's still cars on the road and the drugstores are still open. The liquor stores are still open. So it's kind of like a quarantine, but yeah, right. But if you don't want to leave the home, and if you don't have to, don't at this point. Do it for everybody else. You can order it. You know, you can do Instacart. Most of the grocery stores here, even the discount ones, will deliver for free if you order $50. And who isn't buying at least $50 of food these days? I also went to another store and I got some baby carrots. They actually had them. Maybe I was just there at the right time. I'll give you another tip. If you can't find what you need at the main grocery store, go to some of the discount ones, or go to the Hispanic ones or the Asian marts. They usually have some good buys. If you're not used to shopping there, start doing it now, because you can find some stuff there that's usually a lot cheaper. I also found some bananas. These are always reliable sources of nutrition, and most places still have them because there's so many of them. And then I also got a can of beans. Okay, so again, it's pretty cheap stuff, nothing really expensive, nothing really exciting. I didn't get the flavors that I wanted, I didn't get the brands that I wanted, but for the next few weeks, that's just the way it's going to be. I can't emphasize enough the importance of flexibility in your diet. Don't be so rigid, don't be orthorexic, don't be like, I've got to eat this way, and this is the only way I can eat. Like, it makes you less happy, and it doesn't make you healthier. And then when the crap hits the fan like this, then you're really in trouble because you don't have access to everything that you're used to. I also want to remind you that this too shall pass. I know that sounds cheesy, and it is cheesy. I remember what it felt like after 9/11. This is exactly how it felt. Everybody was uncertain, everybody was anxious, nobody knew what was going to happen. What are we going to do? What's the solution? What's the government going to do? Blah, blah. There were, catastrophic claims, and everybody was predicting that there was going to be another 9/11. Nobody knew what was going to happen. And you know what? We got over it. And I remember what my life was like 6 months after 9/11. It was basically the same as before 9/11. Obviously, some things were different. Airport was a different experience. We had a war in Iraq. And I get it. Some things changed. But for the everyday American, just the average person on the street, nothing really changed. And I think it's really easy to get caught up and all of the news and think that we're going to live in this, I don't know, zombie apocalypse. We're not going that way, okay? Chill. My next step for you is know what your limitations are and know when you're vulnerable and where. It's really easy to snack while you're at home because you don't have that structure, and you can stop working whenever you want. You have the refrigerator, you've got your kitchen, and you're doing a lot of tedious tasks, or maybe you don't have any work right now, and it's really easy to fill that time with a bunch of unnecessary stimulants, including food. So just be honest with yourself and know yourself. When are you vulnerable? Why are you vulnerable? What can you do differently? So instead of having trail mix on your desk, which you shouldn't do, by the way, put it somewhere else, okay? Have set times for meals. Really start paying attention to your hunger. Get rid of some food that you don't need. Maybe there's something that you shouldn't have in your house. Okay, if you're always munching on, I don't know, M&Ms, that's what I like to munch on. Don't have them right now, okay? They'll be there, trust me. The Mars company isn't going away anytime soon. They're still going to make M&Ms after all this is over. They're still making them. Okay, but for now, since you're at home all the time, you need to have some structure, pay attention to your hunger cues, get rid of trigger foods, which really don't exist, but the foods that you habitually overeat. There's never been a better time to create habits, especially healthy ones. You don't have the distractions, you don't have the demands of the typical life. These are interesting times, take advantage. So again, avoid the freak out, limit the news, create some healthy habits, start sitting still. If you can't find what you need, it's okay. There are other grocery stores, you can use home delivery, settle for second best options. You can return to your usual diet after all of this is over. And finally, be conscious of what you're doing. Only eat when you're hungry. Get rid of junk food that's in your house, and only keep healthy options at hand. I hope you found this video educational and entertaining. Again, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you want to speak with me, there is a link below. If you liked this video, I'm sure you'll like one of the other videos that you see on the screen. Click one of them, and I'll see you there.